Okay, hello everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. So thank you for joining us today for this informational webinar. My name is Shauna Slabiota. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and I work in the graduate division at UC San Diego. This event is part of our 4th week of programming for the Graduate Triton Weeks of Welcome. And these weeks of welcome are a collaboration between the graduate division and the Graduate Student Association, from whom you will have a chance to hear from a little later in the session. So a few logistical items before we hear from our presenters today. We will be using the Q&A feature for questions, not the chat function. So you can feel free to enter your questions under where it says Q&A, and we will address them towards the end of today's session. So one great thing to know about Zoom is if somebody asks a question that you also have, you have the ability to sort of upvote that question instead of asking it a second time. And then that will help us as we are going through the Q&A and sort of managing the questions. So you do have the ability to do so, and I hope that you utilize it. So this shot that I'm showing you is the orientation page of the GradLife website. And the GradLife website is simply gradlife.ucsd.edu. There are lots of resources for current graduate students as well as new incoming graduate students. So we do encourage you to come check out the website, find information about academic resources, wellness resources, professional development, financial information. There's a lot of great info here. Again, it's all geared toward graduate students. And so this has the full schedule that we're looking at right now for our Graduate Triton Weeks of Welcome. Like I said, we are in week 4. Next week is our last week, and the topic of that is building an anti-racist campus. Our Graduate Student Association has been working really hard on programming for next week, so we hope that you'll be able to join us. For sessions that are later this week, you would have received an email that had Zoom links last Friday. If you do have a question about any of these events, or especially on how to find them or sign up or attend, please contact either the grad division at gradlife@ucsd.edu or the Graduate Student Association, and I'm putting the emails in the chat. Gradlife@ucsd.edu, contact@gsa.ucsd.edu, and we will definitely help you get connected to these events. And again, so these are the events. I see it says week 3, but actually we're in the 4th week of our programming. These are the events that we're having this week. We are in the resource information session right now. Tomorrow there will be a session that is in collaboration with our International Students and Programs Office at 12 noon. And I should say all of the times listed here are Pacific time, on student life virtually for graduate students. There's also a social that's going to be offered on Thursday. And then on Friday, our Graduate Student Association will be hosting Zoom trivia, and you'll have the ability to get to know people, meet some other new students, and also win some Amazon gift cards. So we definitely encourage you to check that out. And for today's session, I am joined by, I'm sorry about that. I'm joined by my colleagues in the Career Center, Engaged Teaching Hub, Graduate and Family Housing, GradVantage, Idea Center, Student Success Center, and the International Students and Programs Office, as well as the Graduate Student Association. So these are the people that we will be hearing from. Each office or resource will have a chance to share with you how they support graduate students on campus. And then again, we'll we'll hold off on questions and answers until the end of the session. Okay, so now at this time, I'm going to invite my colleague from the Career Center, Myrna, to talk about what resources they offer.
Thank you. Thanks for this chance to talk about it. Hi, everyone. I am at the Career Center. I am the Graduate Career Educator, which means I'm a grad student as well. I'm a PhD candidate in the history department. And I'm one of the people that you can feel free to come and make appointments with. And I'm going to show a video right now, a little bit, just to give a little background about what the Career Center really does. And I'll talk about it a little bit. But basically, we're a team of the graduate end of it. We're a team of 4. We have Julia, Joel, and then 2 graduate career educators. And we work with master's, PhD students, and it's all about trying to help you on your career journey. So we're going to start just with this brief video. And
hi everyone, I'm Julia Hoffman, Associate Director for Graduate Career Development at the Career Center. While many students think that they only need to go to the Career Center once they're close to graduation, we actually recommend using our services early and often throughout the entirety of your graduate career. You can find our office on Library Walk, across from Student Health Center. We have a small but mighty staff of 2 full-time staff advisors, Joel Tolson and me, and 2 part-time graduate student interns, or GPEPs. Joel oversees more of the master's advising and programming, and I oversee more of the PhD side of things. Our office is open year-round, apart from campus holiday closures. So yes, that means we're available not just during the academic year, but throughout the summer as well. Joel and I have our graduate degrees, and our interns are graduate students themselves. So when you meet with us, you're meeting with people who truly understand the challenges and opportunities of graduate school and the post-grad school job hunt. We can meet with you to discuss any of your career concerns, whether it's that you don't know where to start or what careers you're interested in, or you do know, but you want some help landing your dream job. Every quarter, we hold tons of events. Of course, these used to be in person, but they'll be online for the foreseeable future. In addition to the workshops that we design, we host employer recruiting events, faculty and alumni panels, and more. To stay up to date on events, resources, and internship or job offerings specifically for graduate students, we recommend signing up for one of our grad careers listservs, which are listed here based on whether you're in the humanities, arts, and social sciences, or in a STEM field. So, how can you access the resources I just went over? All of this is on Handshake, which is our Career Center online portal. If you do nothing else after watching this video, please log into Handshake and browse around. You can schedule appointments there, find all our events, as well as recordings of recent events that you may have missed, search for on-campus and off-campus jobs and internships, and use our online resources, which have been curated especially for graduate students. Also, you'll have access to Handshake for life, including all the online resources. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. If you'd like to schedule an appointment on Handshake, our appointment availability is typically released about a week in advance. So if you want to book further ahead or you can't find any availability that works for you, just send us an email. We hope to hear from you soon, and welcome to grad school at UCSD. We're so excited to have you here.
great. I hope everyone can see that and it wasn't just 2 minutes passing by. But essentially what we just highlighted was that we are here for you in anything that you need for your career services. So what that means is if you need help looking over a resume, if you need help with a CV, we actually have individual appointments you can come and make, and we can look over it, offer advice on things that we can change as well and customize it for the job that you're interested in. In addition to that specific thing, we can also help with networking. A lot of questions that people might have right now is with COVID, what does that mean for the job search, whether it's for this year or for the years to come? And that's a great question to ask that we can definitely work on with career counseling, and that's something we can offer in individual appointments as well. So questions like, how do I network virtually right now? How do I make connections? One of the things that the Career Center offers that's really great for grad students is this opportunity to network with alumni. And this is definitely a resource that we can help with. So if you have any questions about individual needs you might have for your career journey, if you're either first year, right, as we're talking about orientation, or even years down the line, if you want to think about it, the career process is more of a journey than a stage. And so any kind of need that we may have over time, the Career Center is here for you. Appointments can be made through Handshake, just like it was mentioned in the video, and feel free to reach out to us with any questions you have. This is what we're here for, and we're here to help you with your career. Thanks for this chance to talk about it, and I look forward to some questions in the end.
Thank you so much, Myrna. All right, at this time, I'm going to ask my colleague Erilyn from the Engaged Teaching Hub to talk about her work with grad students.
So hi everyone, I'm Erilyn Heinrichsen, she, her, hers, and I work in the Teaching and Learning Commons, which is a very large structure on campus that essentially supports two sides of teaching and learning, both the professional education for TAs, IAs, faculty, and as well as the students learning, especially a lot of student academic support for undergrads, as well as some for graduate students as well. So what I want to start off with is actually a quick little quiz, poll, whatever you might call it. No need to actually submit your answer, but I want you to think for a moment, how many items can our working memory hold? Okay, make your vote, or your at least in your thought. So the answer is actually, well, 7-ish. Anyone in Cog Sci will debate me on this because there's a lot of literature that actually says it's even less. But the point is, we can't hold that many items in our working memory. So as students are listening to you, if you're going to be a TA or an instructor someday, there's not that much that they can actually hold at once. So what you want to do is figure out how you can effectively move that into their long-term memory, into connections that already exist, so that they can listen and learn more from you. So which of these things do you think would help move information into their long-term memory? Summarizing and connecting new information to prior ideas, placing content in everyday experiences, articulating their own understanding, or sitting in lecture? The answer, if you thought it was more than one, is true. It's A through C. D alone will not do it. So the role of teaching at UC San Diego is really, really important, both in the sense that it's a professional development experience for you, but also it's your role as an IA or a TA instructional assistant in these courses is absolutely crucial for helping students move information to long-term memory. And it's not an easy role. And so we're here to support you. I'm specifically work with the Engaged Teaching Hub, where we try to help people teach in a way that students learn. So in this comic, it's just briefly showing, I taught Stripe how to whistle. I don't hear him whistling. Said I taught him, I didn't say he learned it. So we want to help you move from just teaching as in regurgitating information to actually helping students learn. And to help with this, in the Engaged Teaching Hub, which is again part of sort of the teaching side of the Teaching and Learning Commons, we have workshops ongoing throughout the year. We have consultations. And again, as with the Career Center, everything used to be in person and everything for the coming year will be remote. Once you get a little bit more advanced and are looking at becoming an instructor of record at UC San Diego or beyond, we have an Introduction to College Teaching, which is a pedagogy course that's free for all to participate, non-credit bearing. There's also chances to teach as a course instructor. And then the English language program for international instructors is a great support for those who are required to TA but may not make the cutoff in terms of their English language proficiency. So those are just sort of a brief overview of what we offer. Coming up really soon, which I hope a lot of you have heard about, potentially from an email from me, and that we have this new Instructional Assistant Teaching Symposium. We're going to have a ton of events, which they're filling up really fast, but we'll be offering more throughout the quarter. So we really encourage you to come. Learning how to teach effectively and more equitably really makes such a difference for your students, and it makes it a lot more fun for you, I promise. It's so much more fun when things go well. Before I wrap up, I wanted to also mention that we have some phenomenal writing support for you as a student. So this goes beyond your role as instructor, but really you as a student, with one-on-one remote consultations, grad writing retreats, grad writing room that really just helps you stay on track. And I work with a lot of graduate students, and I cannot tell you how many people have called their work with the Writing Hub life-changing. and a game changer when it comes to getting their dissertation done, when it comes to getting papers out. So highly recommend checking out both Engage Teaching Hub or engageteaching.ucsc.edu and writinghub.ucsc.edu. And I have no idea if I'm over or under in time, but I would be delighted to answer any questions at the end of all this. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Erilyn. I also would like to confirm that the Writing Hub has done wonders for the graduate students that I work with as well. I've never heard anything negative, I don't think, about their services. All right, so at this time, my colleagues in graduate and family housing, I'm going to ask you all to share.
Hello, everybody. Thanks so much for having us. I'm just going to share our screen very quickly. Okay, so my name is Anthony Keene-Louie. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I am the Program and Community Development Manager for Graduate and Family Housing. For those of you that don't know, there are about at full capacity would be just under 6,000 residents in our graduate and family communities, which is quite a large group. And so part of that is having an area that focuses specifically on community development and programs to serve the various needs within our communities. And I have a colleague with me today who I'm going to have introduce herself.
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Natalie Rosen. I'm one of the resident relation coordinators, as Anthony mentioned, with the HDH Connect team within our graduate and family housing communities.
And this is the structure of our team. We have 15 community assistants, which if you have ever lived on campus before in a previous institution or at UCSD, you would be familiar with an RA position. This is very similar, but these are our graduate students, just like yourself, who are only focused on programming. So they don't do duty or on call or any of the keys, none of that. So they're there just to focus on programming and building up spaces, even in this remote time, to make you feel more connected to your campus here. We have another position for a graduate assistant, which is unfortunately on hold at the moment as it relates to COVID-19 and the hiring freeze we have in some areas of campus, or most of the campus. And then also we are supposed to have 2 other positions of RRC. So that means Natalie and her colleague, Nikki right there, are doing a lot of extra work at the moment and are doing a fantastic job of it. But we are also here to serve as resources to you. One thing I want to preface the conversation with, and especially the Q&A, is that we cannot answer any questions about leases or wait lists or anything like that, but we have colleagues that are ready and standing by to do that for you. When Natalie starts talking, I'm going to go ahead and put a link to the Graduate and Family Housing website, which has all of that type of information as well as contact information. So what do we do? So I mentioned programming community development, which basically means events. Again, we are doing all of our events online at the moment. There are some in-person components where people get to pick up perhaps supplies that then get shared on social media as part of a program. So we are continuing with that. Natalie is going to talk more about that. We also are responsible for the student conduct process within graduate and family housing, which is related to our Office of Student Conduct on campus, and it is an educational experience. And then assessment. We want to know what's going on in our communities. We're a research institution, and that's something that we pride ourselves on, making sure that we are actively engaged in learning more about what's going on and also responding to that with programming and other initiatives.
Thank you, Anthony. So yes, some of our current programming that we have been doing since shifting remotely, typically our programs take place, in person, fun, engaging experiences. But thankfully, we've been able to shift that to the remote experience and still providing an opportunity for our residents to meet their neighbors and to engage with one another. So some successful programs that we've had are a virtual cooking challenge where residents were able to create their own dishes and then share them with us on social media, with an opportunity to be incentivized and to just showcase and share their favorite recipes and different culinary experiences. We've also done a virtual art tour through the San Diego Museum of Art, where we had a volunteer guide take us through the local museums and pieces of artwork where residents were able to engage over those pieces of art and learn more about other local opportunities. And then another really popular one that we did this past summer quarter was a virtual murder mystery party. And so we had residents RSVP and then log on together to participate in a virtual murder mystery that was actually facilitated by a professional murder mystery host. And so a really fun opportunity to, still be able to engage with your neighbors and other residents and members of the graduate and family housing community online. So those are some recent programs. And if you live with us on campus, you'll be able to find out about our programs through our weekly newsletters. So these typically every Monday morning to all residents of graduate and family housing communities, where we showcase upcoming programs, typically programs that are happening in the next 3 weeks, as well as various campus resources. So information about our Triton food pantry, about our CAP services, and a lot of other really specialty resources that are focused towards graduate students. And then in addition to our community assistant events, which I shared 2 slides prior to this, we also have our large scale events, which are our marquee events. So in the past, we've had a winter snow day, we've done spring block parties, and traditionally our fall marquee event is our rooftop lounge, which is a really fun evening event to kick off the fall quarter, where we have a live band and music and food and all of the fun things. However, this coming fall, shifting to more of a socially distant program, we are going to be having a upcoming community art project. So like I said, we'll be sharing more of that information via our weekly email newsletter. So if you live with us or are going to be moving into graduate and family housing soon, you will definitely get that information. So we encourage you to participate, and we look forward to hopefully seeing you at one of our programs. And then lastly, like I mentioned in our weekly newsletters, we do share a lot of campus resources. And in addition, we do partner and collaborate a lot with various campus departments and different student organizations and resources on campus. So like I mentioned, our counseling and psychological services, our Triton food pantry, our student health, and our wellness and Fit Life are great collaborations that we have all throughout the year, and really work closely with them to bring programs that are individualized and specifically for our graduate and family housing community. So we have a lot of great partnerships.
And one I would definitely like to highlight, since I know this is co-hosted by 2 entities that we often partner with, the grad division as well as GSA. And we're really excited because that even during this time, they've continued to be wonderful partners. So thank you for all that you do with us.
Absolutely. And then another partner that we work very closely are our basic needs resources and the department on campus. So we have a new Triton food pantry located within graduate and family housing. It is located in our 1 Miramar Street community. However, you don't need to live there you don't need to live there to access it. It is open to anyone, just more centrally located if you live within the graduate and family housing communities. And then several days a week, we actually have a food recovery network distribution program that takes place from the Triton food pantry in our 1 Miramar Street lounge. And so it's an opportunity to go and receive food that has been donated from across campus, donated from some medical centers, and just really help to eliminate food waste as well as supply basic need resources for our students. And then lastly, we have a newly developed HDH donation program, which allows for our residents to collect or to be able to take advantage of some different household appliances or various needs that have been donated. So if you're in need of a new microwave or maybe a living room lamp or something like that, we can work with the donation program to help find you the specific item that you may be looking for.
And one thing to note is that all of these resources right now, given current circumstances, are by appointment only. So if you have more questions about that, again, I'll also add our email to the chat when we're done. So if you have any specific questions, we're happy to answer. And with that being said, thanks so much for letting us participate. Again, if you have any specific questions regarding our services or about HDH that you don't seem to find on the website, we can always connect you to the right person.
Thank you, Anthony and Natalie. Okay, at this time, I'm going to share with everyone a little bit about our GradVantage program. And so here we go. GradVantage is an initiative that started at UC San Diego in 2015 with the purpose of expanding professional development opportunities on campus for graduate students and postdocs. So this is the mission of the program that I have here on the slide. So through GradVantage, we hope to empower graduate students and postdocs to achieve professional success. And we do that through a variety of ways. Through building community. So a lot of our programs are intentionally interdisciplinary. So the idea is that you get to meet people across campus that are interested in the same professional opportunities or similar professional opportunities, or people that you're practicing research communication with, and you are getting to hear about the work that they do, and you get to hear them be able to display that passion for their research and what gets them motivated to continue in doing this work. We also are helping you to develop career competencies and confidence. So I mentioned communication, career exploration, entrepreneurship, a variety of skills and proficiencies that we aim to help students develop through GradVantage. And then, of course, exploring diverse pathways to employment. So as a graduate student, you have so many opportunities for you through your career and professionally. And we really hope to have students have agency and to know what their options are, and to develop skills that will help them take their next step in their career. So the website is at the bottom of this page, gradvantage.ucsd.edu. I encourage you to check out that website to learn more about the specific programs that we offer. I do have a few examples here as well. And so GradVantage works off of a partnership model similar to what my colleagues at HDH were just discussing. We know that we have this opportunity to increase the effectiveness and the reach of our programs by intentionally creating partnerships across campus, including some of my other colleagues that are here today as panelists. And so we partner with different resources to offer a variety of programs. And so GradVantage, you can almost think of it as a hub for some of these specific opportunities that are available that will help you develop a specific skill or introduce you to a new career path, to help you connect with other people, to help you, again, develop as a professional. And so this is a sample of the programs that we offer, and they're offered at different times throughout the year. I do want to specifically mention that we partner with UC San Diego Extension, and it's highlighted here on this slide, on our Leadership and Teamwork Certificate program. If that is something that you might be interested in, the deadline to apply for that is this upcoming Friday, September 18th. So if that's something that stands out to you, please go to our website. You can find all the information on how to apply for that program. It's really a wonderful experience, and the timing of that's coming up pretty close. So I would encourage you to act quickly. And the website, if you do have questions, we also have the email address gradvantage@ucsd.edu. So that's also a way to get in touch with us. But otherwise, and I'm also going to put that here in the chat. However, if you have questions today, then just go ahead and ask those a little bit later, and we'll definitely get to those questions about GradVantage. So thank you. All right, at this time, I'm going to invite my colleague Jenny Miranda to talk about the IDEA Engineering Student Center.
Thanks, Shana. Welcome to all our graduate students who are in this Zoom meeting. It's my pleasure to talk a little bit about the IDEA Center and the services and programs that we offer. I always press the wrong button here. That we offer to engineering students at UC San Diego. Here we go. Okay, so my name is Jenny Miranda. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm the Director of Operations for the IDEA Center. And we are located within the Jacobs School of Engineering, hence serving engineering students. Although we collaborate with a lot of units across campus, grad division, included. So I want to talk a little bit about some of the programming that we offer, ways that you can get involved. This is our website, idea.ucsd.edu. And when we're back on campus, you'll find us at Jacobs Hall. It's the building with the house on top. And we are located right off the main lobby in that building. So IDEA stands for Inclusion, Diversity, Excellence, and Achievement. These are the tenets by which we offer many of our programming. And our focus is to foster an inclusive and welcoming community for all graduate and undergraduate students, increase retention and graduation rates, and ensure that everyone is doing well academically at UC San Diego. So a couple of programs I want to highlight. One of them is our weekly grad talks. We offer these usually during the academic year on Fridays at noon. We have moved these offerings online along with all the other offerings that you've probably been hearing about already these past few weeks. And so we continue to offer it on Fridays at noon. So it is a live session, although the recordings are normally made available afterwards. So if you're not able to make it because you've got class or other commitments during that time, the good thing right now with remote learning is that we are actually able to make those recordings available to you after the fact. So it increases the number of students that we can reach. This year we're actually partnering. I know you're going to be hearing a little bit from the Division of Physical Sciences. So again, because we're not holding this in person, we don't have to worry about capacity for rooms, which is a good thing. We're actually able to offer it to as many students who are able to attend as long as our Zoom capacity is able to accommodate it. So this year we're hoping to actually expand our offering and be able to accommodate students from the Division of Physical Sciences as well. So the best way to actually know when what topics are being covered from week to week is to like our Facebook page, because we do have the events usually posted on there on a weekly basis. I'll talk a little bit later, but we do have a newsletter that goes out every Monday as well to students. And this information is usually included in that newsletter. So there's a couple of ways that we get the information out to you. But keep an eye out before the beginning of fall quarter. We will usually send out a flyer that has a list of all the topics that we're planning to offer for the quarter so that you can plan accordingly. If there are specific topics that you don't want to miss out, you can put them on your planner or your calendar and make sure that you sign up for them the week before. So we also have a mentorship program that involves graduate students. So this is an opportunity for you to actually mentor undergraduate students. So engineering is a very big school. We have a big number of undergraduate students, actually one of the biggest on the West Coast. And many of you have probably just finished your bachelor's degree, or it's probably not too long ago since you have. And we welcome your partnership in actually, providing mentorship to students who are coming after you, and provide guidance, tips. These are students who are going to go through what you went through successfully, obviously, because you're here. So we actually recruit mentors from our graduate student population every single year, and the commitment is for the whole year for you to mentor a group of about 4 or 5 undergraduate students. So the type of activities we normally have, in addition to mentorship, in which case you meet with your mentees on a regular basis throughout the quarter, we actually have at least one large group meeting per quarter. We do have opportunities as well to connect with alumni at least once a quarter. And all of these activities, the mentors, of course, are also encouraged to attend with their mentees. So we will be opening up the application for mentors tomorrow, if not the day after. So keep an eye out for that. We'll be sending that out through email. And it will also be on our website. And then we usually open up the application for about 10 days. So we hope that you look into that opportunity. And our website will have more information about, what is involved, what is your role, what are expectations of mentors. And we have a student council. So they do put out a lot of activities throughout the year. Again, they've transitioned a lot of the activities remotely as well, but they range from professional development. These are networking with alumni and industry members, alumni who actually are in the engineering field, who live, who work in a lot of the companies that are in the San Diego area. They have academic achievement awards that they give out to students to recognize the type of work that you do in your research and in your curricular work. And also, of course, an opportunity for you to connect with other students, not just within your department, but across school, because we do have 6 departments within the School of Engineering. So there's a lot of opportunities for you to meet students interdisciplinarily. So they do have open positions. So if you're interested in some leadership opportunities as well, this is a good way to get involved through JGSC. Their email address is on the page there. So if you want to write it down, if you're really interested in becoming more involved from a leadership perspective, that opportunity is definitely available to you. And you can be in a position where you are working with us to actually strengthen the graduate community across the school. So I've got one more page here. So we are going to be holding an info session during Welcome Week. So we call that week when you start your classes on the Thursday, Welcome Week. And this will be held on that Friday, October 2nd. And we will have some current students there. So we'll have a panel session. So we'll have a Q&A very similar to the format today. So it will be an opportunity for you to hear more from the Jacobs Graduate Student Council and what they have planned for the year, but also hear from our current students, some of our current students, and possibly ask them some questions. So that will be a good way to start connecting with JGSC for sure. So here are many different ways you can connect with us. So if you're on Facebook, we have a Facebook page. If you're on Instagram, we also have an Instagram page, and they're both at UCSD IDEA. I mentioned the weekly newsletter that we send out every single Monday. Our website, our email is just idea@eng.ucsd.edu. So however way you like to connect, please do so. And we hope we'll see you on that Friday of Welcome Week and throughout the year in many of the programming that we offer.
Thank you, Jenny. All right, and now I think we're going to hear from the Student Success Center from Physical Sciences. So Franklin or Tina?
How's everybody doing? My name is Franklin Garrett. I'm the director of the Student Success Center in the Division of Physical Sciences. I'm here with my colleague Tina Gov, the assistant director of the center, to talk to you a little bit about the center and how it's a resource for physical science students. And physical science students are students majoring in chemistry, biochemistry, mathematics, and physics. So this is the Student Success Center. The Student Success Center is a one-stop shop on campus for students in the physical sciences. The meeting space that we built back earlier this month before COVID, we actually looked to do career fairs there, have a meeting room for recruitment events, and have a place for students and student organizations to meet. The center is centrally located at the UCSD Founders Plaza in the Revelle College in Meyer Hall. And what you're looking at is a pretty close representation of how the center looks itself. So the mission of the center is to prepare our diverse population of students for launching successful careers. The center seeks to host different events that include inclusive and welcoming learning community for our students, engage them on career development, and also encourage them for lifelong career management skills. So one of our main concerns in the center is actually to provide training experiences beyond the classroom. What students are learning in the classroom is great, but we feel like there needs to be connection to industry, connections to alumni so that they can understand a little bit better about how they can use their degree once they graduate. So here are some of the programs, the signature programs that the Success Center does. Tina Gov, the assistant director, is going to talk a little bit more in detail about this, but we have a internship portal where we go through and we find tailor-made opportunities for physical sciences students. That's available on our website. What we do is also work with industry professionals and on-campus partners to create internships opportunities for students and fellowships. We have a mentorship program that we just started, which is pretty cool because we connect current UCSD students to alumni in industry. So if you're a chemistry and biochemistry student, you get matched up with someone working in the industry in the area that you are interested in. Another key component is we bring our alumni back to participate in industry days, and we're going to start a grad talk series where you can hear from alumni who graduated with the same major as you. And even with everything happening with COVID-19, we still are able to do a lot of virtual events. We've done online industry outreach days, career days, recruitment days where we've had local companies come and do a presentation about their company. And at the end of the presentation, they will take resumes, and we've actually had a couple of students apply for internships from that. And student organizations, so the Student Success Center, we support 17 student organizations throughout our division. And we also support a few diversity organizations such as SACNAS, Out in STEM, and those two. And then we have a student council. So the way we have it set up is that every leader on the student organization has a seat on our student council. And what's really cool about that is that the students are able to give their opinions about the direction that they feel like the Student Success Center would go. And I think the thing that excites me most about the Student Success Center is that this was an initiative that came out of a student success survey. So we really look in the voice of the student to determine like what direction we want to go. And at this time, I'm going to introduce Tina Gov. She's going to go into a little bit more detail about our program offerings.
Thank you, Franklin, for the introduction. Once again, my name is Tina Gov. I'm the Assistant Director for the Student Success Center, and my pronouns are she, her, hers. And I'll be sharing with you more about our mentorship program. So our mentorship program initially for this quarter is our pilot mentorship program. We just started the program, and in this program, we had 39 mentors and 53 mentees participating over the course of 6 months, which was from May 26th, and it's still continuing to November 25th. We do monthly check-ins with the mentors and the mentees. So just like Franklin mentioned earlier, a lot of times we want to get feedback from students to see what is it that we need to change. So our full program will launch winter 2021. And the good news is with this program, it's open to undergraduate and graduate students. But when we do the matching, we actually first prioritize graduate students followed by seniors, and so forth. So if you're interested, this program is definitely something that would help connect you to alumni and industry professionals. And one of the quotes that really stuck out to me through looking at the survey was the quote from one of the mentees, which says, "My mentor has clarified so many of my career questions, and I'm always so grateful for all the information she has given me. I want to work in forensics, and she is willing to let me tour her crime lab after coronavirus declines, and I am excited. All in all, it's amazing." And that was from one of our mentees, which I think is super cool because we found different ways to connect our mentees to industry professional during the time of the pandemic. They're able to do it virtually, and we've heard from some of the alumni mentors stating that they're willing to showcase their facility after coronavirus has hopefully declined. So that's just a little bit more about our mentorship program. We are currently still in the planning stages of our winter 2021 program, but keep an eye out. We will send more information through your campus department. So once again, if you're in chemistry or biochemistry, physics or mathematics, you should be receiving an email through your department. We will also continue to update our website with that information. The reason why it's not fully launched yet is because we are really taking in the consideration of all the monthly check-in surveys before we actually implement the full program. Next slide. Okay, so just as Franklin mentioned earlier, we do have our own job and internship portal. The thing that's really cool about our portal is that you don't have to decipher and find and go through all these different opportunities. If you want something that's just specific, as you can see on the screen here, you can filter it specifically if you're a chemistry, biochemistry student. I actually just talked to a company today who said with their internship program, they don't only hire undergrad, they also hire graduate students as well. So that's something very exciting. So we will list those details. We work very closely with the companies. So I think something that's very cool about this is that UC San Diego is such a big campus that this is once again just a one-stop shop for you to find all these opportunities. Next slide, thank you. Okay, so how did we address COVID-19? So our last in-person event, we did it with one of the largest student organization in February, which we held the Chemistry Industry Interaction Day. And so with that event, you know, it was a lot of networking, free food, everything that a lot of times students would like to attend. And so because of COVID, we had to turn all of our events virtually, but that didn't stop us from finding ways to have students still engage with our industry professionals. So all of our webinars are conducted through Zoom, and we also use a platform called Slido. So this gives students an opportunity to still interact and engage with the different industry representatives by typing in their question via text to that software. And so we've been using that, and some of our past events include transitioning to online instruction. And that was led by one of the professors, especially during this time. That was actually one of our first events since all the classes were moving remote. We've had 2 different events on job hunting for new graduates in the age of COVID-19. So we had various industry professionals share more about their hiring needs in their company, if anything has changed. And we found that the good news is that a lot of companies are still hiring even during this time. A lot of the interviews are, of course, remote and sometimes even the training process, but it was a lot of great news for students to hear. And a lot of them also shared about different ways that students could stand out during this time. We do various industry days. So this could be through the department where we have a panel event. For example, we've done one with the math department. We've done one with chemistry and biochemistry, and we're currently in the process of planning one with physics, where we would have different panelists come out and pretty much share more about their career trajectory, how they got into the field. And since they are currently working at a company, what does that look like? And if they're hiring any graduate students or any students at the moment. And we are now trying to focus more on another pillar, which is more on the equity, diversity and inclusion type events. So we just had one recently, which is teaching students of color in STEM, which was a very popular topic, and the panels that were there were all faculty members who were able to touch upon this topic. And as we are continuing to plan more virtual events, we are doing more industry days, but we want to highlight a lot more equity, diversity, and inclusion events. Thank you. Next slide. Okay, so if you're interested, please keep in touch with us. Email us, fivesidasuccess@ucsd.edu with any questions you have, any suggestions. Once again, I think one of the biggest thing that stands out from at the Student Success Center is that we really take these surveys seriously. We really take students' opinions and any suggestions you have very seriously. So feel free to email us, connect with us on LinkedIn. We're also on Instagram and Twitter as well. Thank you all.
Thank you, Franklin and Tina. At this time, I'm going to ask my colleague Grace from the International Students and Programs Office, who are also doing a lot of welcome events right now for our international students. So Grace, if you want to share some of what you all are doing at your office.
Hello. Thank you so much, Shauna. I actually have seen some familiar faces and names in the crowd, so thank you so much to our incredible graduate students. Like Shauna said, we are actually in the middle of international orientation. So I'll highlight some of the things that are happening right now that you can take part in, as well as what might be of interest to you throughout the year. So my name is Grace Fuller. I use she, her, hers pronouns, and I am the manager of student engagement and experience at the International Students and Programs Office, commonly referred to as ISPO. So you probably know ISPO, if you're an international student, predominantly through our advising services, issuing your immigration documents. But in addition to that, we also offer programs and events that we encourage our students to take part in. So some of those programs that might be of interest to you, so we have our English in Action program. So if you're a student who wants to practice more of your conversational English, you can get matched with a conversation leader and meet virtually throughout the year to practice some of that, getting more comfortable speaking. We also have our iThrive series. So our iThrive is an adjustment series that is really looking at the different intersectional identities of being an international graduate student. So we'll talk about identities, we'll talk about imposter syndrome, we'll talk about growth mindset. So a lot of these different issues and themes that are really relevant to you as an international student. We have a lot of different programs. I won't necessarily go through all of them, but I would encourage you to check out iprograms.ucsd.edu. And that can kind of give you an overview and kind of introduce you to what each one of these programs is, and then you can go from there what you might want to be involved in. The other thing I really want to highlight is our iEvents calendar. So the iPrograms gives you a good idea of what our programs are, but iEvents gives you a great idea of like what's happening. So this is a live calendar, and it's actually updated throughout the year. And it's populated by events both from campus departments as well as student organizations. And so if you are ever bored or looking for something to do, I would really recommend checking out our iEvents calendar. It's really similar if you're familiar with the Virtual Student Union, but something that I've heard from grad students is that the Virtual Student Union tends to have a little bit more of an undergrad focus, whereas this calendar is really open to our graduate students, but it will have more of a global focus. So you'll notice that in the theme of some of these events. And then finally, something I just want to highlight that's actually occurring now during international orientation is our iOrientation meetups. We recognize that a huge part of orientation is meeting new people and starting to create your Triton community. So in addition to all of the really great resource sessions that we're offering and the great information that we want you to know, we also want to facilitate an opportunity for you to just meet people. And make some new connections. So we're offering two types of meetups, interest meetups as well as regional meetups. So interest meetups are an easy way for you to meet people who share similar interests. I know there's been like cooking meetups, hiking meetups, video games, board games, like you name it, it feels like there's a meetup for it. And then as well, there's also been regional meetups. So if you're interested in connecting with some fellow students who are from your same region, this is a great way to connect and possibly talk about what it's like to be an international student studying at UC San Diego. And then the last thing I'm just going to drop in the chat is our amazing ISPO grad division intern actually coordinates two things that I think are really relevant to this population. So one, our Grad Pals program. And so for that, the Grad Pals program, it's not necessarily department specific. So you can be from any department and get matched with a current graduate student at UC San Diego. You can rank in the form what your preferences are. So if you prefer to get matched with someone from your department, or maybe you prefer to get matched with someone from your same home region. So you can kind of decide like what you have a preference for, but this is a great way to start expanding and making that UC San Diego network. And then finally, I'll also put in the chat our grad welcome packet. So Viona also created this website, and it's honestly just a great resource to kind of familiarize yourself with like, okay, what do I need to know about? And what are like basically one site that houses a lot of really, really helpful links. So I'll put both of those in the chat, and I encourage you to check them out. All right, thanks so much, Shauna.
Thank you, Grace. All right, at this time, I'm going to ask our GSA president, oh great, here she is, to share a little bit with us about the Graduate Student Association.
All right, hi everyone. For those of you who've been attending these sessions, you have seen me before, but my name is Quinwen. I'm the GSA president and use pronouns she, her, hers. And I am excited to host this week a trivia night all about resources outside of just the academics. So GSA has been partnering with Grad Division the last couple weeks to host these little trivia nights to both kind of see whether or not you've been paying attention during these sessions, but also as a chance for you to come together with other grad students and hang out. So I will add to the chat here the form to RSVP and get the Zoom information for the trivia night. Also, we have been getting some questions about the goodie bag. Unfortunately, since the form has gone out, we have kind of gotten enough signups for all the goodie bags, and so we've close the form, but you know, I think there's going to be more opportunities in the future for us to do more goodie bags and swag. So please look out for more communication from us. But if you've been trying to get access to that, that's why. But yeah, so I'll look forward to seeing you all on Friday at the trivia night. Thank you, Shauna.
Thank you, Quinn. All right, so that concludes our sort of presentation piece of this session. At this time, I'd like to invite everyone to enter their questions into the Q&A feature of this webinar. We have been getting a couple of questions already, so thank you so much, and please keep them going. I am going to ask my colleague Erilyn if she can touch upon a question that was asked a little bit earlier. And so the question is about, is it necessary for graduate students to become TAs? So this person is interested in being a TA, but they are not currently set to TA. Could you please speak about that?
Absolutely. I'm so glad that you asked that question, Bo. I think that it definitely varies by department. So in terms of what's required for your department, I would check with them. It varies. Some departments you only TA one quarter, others it's almost every quarter. What I would say, by the way, just to clarify, if you ever hear me refer to the name IA or instructional assistant, at UC San Diego, since we have a lot of different roles, we have TAs, which are teaching assistants. In some departments, people do this for credit, so they're called instructional apprentices. And then there's also tutors, where it's more running office hours or small group settings. And then readers, where it's more just grading responsibilities. And so we have the term instructional assistant or IA, which covers basically all of those. So if you ever hear me refer to IA, or if you see emails about IAs, that's why. It still applies to you. But I love that you say that, you know, you're interested in this, because it really is a phenomenal professional development experience. So what I would do is, if I would check with your department about what the requirement is, but speaking from someone who came from a grad program that did not require much TAing, I had to fight a little bit. I don't mean like aggressively, but I had to, you know, persevere in trying to get that opportunity to TA. So again, others are going to hate me for saying that because they had to TA so much that they wish they could have had some time off. But if you don't have a lot of opportunity, you might have to push a little bit, but I highly encourage it. It's having that teaching experience will really help you on the job market later. And especially if you can do it effectively, that it's going to be a great experience for you. So thank you for asking that. I don't think I actually answered your question other than talk to your department, but I had to chime in with that.
Thank you, Erilyn. I also wanted to touch upon another question earlier. I just want to share with the group that we are recording this session. We have been recording the sessions over these past few weeks, and the recordings are posted. The previous session recordings are posted, and then we'll get this one up as soon as we can on the orientation site of the Grad Life website. And again, the Grad Life website is gradlife.ucsd.edu. And if you go to the orientation section, that's where you will be able to find the recordings from the sessions that we've recorded so far. So I just wanted to mention that if you haven't had a chance yet to visit the website and look at the recordings, I encourage you to do so. Okay, I'm going to ask a question now of Jenny, who's here from the Idea Engineering Student Center. Jenny, we had a question about the engineering mentorship program and if it's only for engineering grad students.
Yeah, thank you for that question. So the JUMP program is specifically for engineering students. Because it is housed within the School of Engineering, but I believe there's a lot of opportunities to mentor. I have to say that if you're looking to actually get into a mentorship relationship to give back that way, I'm sure there's an opportunity, if not within your division, within a student group that you might want to be a part of because of shared interest. So I would say just look for an opportunity in the area that you really are interested in finding community, right? Because there are so many different ways to build community within the campus. That's the beauty of it. It's such a big campus, but there's just so many groups that are willing to embrace you and all of our new students who are joining us this fall. I know Franklin and Tina talked about the mentorship program they have in the Division of Physical Sciences. I know many of the student organizations that we work with have their own mentorship as well, where they are more than happy to have graduate students who are willing to mentor their undergraduate membership. So please connect with us. I'm not sure what area you're in, what your interest is, but we'll be happy to actually connect you with folks across the campus who may be able to actually offer you those opportunities.
Thank you, Jenny. I would just like to mention there's lots of opportunities for graduate students to mentor undergraduates on this campus. So in addition to the programs that we've heard about tonight from the Idea Center and the Student Success Center, there's within the graduate division, we run a summer research program that we call our STARS program. And every year we hire current UC San Diego graduate students to help with that program. We call them graduate advocates. And they work with the undergraduate students that are coming to campus for a summer research experience. So that's yet another example, but there are definitely opportunities on campus to be involved as a mentor and to be able to work with, to give back to students who might be interested in grad school or interested in research. So I would definitely encourage you to seek out those opportunities.
Shauna, may I chime in real quick?
Yes, of course.
I just wanted to mention one thing. I don't think I mentioned it in my little spiel, but having gone through grad school at UC San Diego myself, and then I was a postdoc after that. And if I could offer you one piece of advice right now with all of these wonderful resources, is any that you think sound interesting, but you you're like, I just don't know right now, literally set a reminder on your phone or something like that, to like for 2 years from now or something to make an appointment at the Career Center or talk to this person or whatever it might be, because there's a tremendous amount that's afforded to you as a grad student that is not there when you're done. So, and that's not a slight against anything, just more that it's readily accessible for you right now. So take advantage of it. And if you're not ready to take advantage of it right now, don't forget about it. I really wish I had done more as a grad student, because I became a postdoc and realized, oh, this doesn't work anymore for me in the same, and they've developed a lot more since when I was a postdoc, but just want to throw that out there. If you don't want to use it right now, set a reminder for yourself to come back to this.
Can I actually chime in on that too? That was really great. Thanks for, like, you reminded me of something. Yeah, if I can just say, a lot of times when we start grad school, and I'm a grad student as well, and a lot of times we think I'm gonna just do my classes, get myself ready, and then I'll come into, and I'm with the Career Center, and I'll deal with career issues later on. But actually now is the time to start thinking about what you might want to do for your career path long term. One of the things we offer at the Career Center is career exploration. So if you're interested in what kind of skills do I have, what are some things I'd like to invest in, what are some things I like, these are all great questions that you can start to ask yourself now. And we can think about courses or professors or connections that you can start taking from even right now that can help you in your career journey long term. So if you have any questions, I'll put in the chat as well our website so you can reach out.
Thank you so much, Erilyn and Myrna. That's such important advice, absolutely. I think, Erilyn, in particular, your advice about sending a reminder was really key, because as the fall quarter begins, I'm sure for our new students, there's a lot of information that is being shared right now, which is wonderful. But we definitely don't want you to lose sight of the wonderful career and professional development opportunities that are on this campus. And so I think that tip specifically about setting a reminder to kind of look at a website or check in with an office on campus a little later was really great. So thank you so much for that. Grace, there is a question about the Grad Pals program, and if somebody is involved with the program but looking to connect with other students, is it possible for them to apply again, or maybe to participate in another program to connect with other students?
Yes, definitely. I am going to share my email in the chat, so you can email me specifically about your situation to see if we might be able to connect you with a different mentor. But I would also really encourage you that if you're looking to meet students from outside of your program, or maybe more students within your same program, those meetups that I highlighted, I know that a lot of meetups are focusing on grad students within certain programs. And so that might be an easy way to connect with folks. In addition to more of that one-on-one connection that you have through the Grad Pal program, that allows you to meet maybe a small group of students. But I'll go ahead and put my email in the chat, and feel free to connect.
Thank you, Grace. We've definitely heard about a lot of different mentorship programs that are happening across campus. I would also say that if you are looking for a mentorship program, or to get paired up with people that are in your specific department, you might also reach out to your department to see what opportunities exist. So, for example, or I should say, with the Graduate Student Association that we have, there are representatives from each of the departments, the academic departments and programs. And sometimes a program will have a graduate student council, or a student body that operates within their discipline, that will put on events or programs or connect students with other students in the same area. So I would encourage you to talk to the staff or the faculty in your particular program to see what opportunities exist. And Quinn, I don't know if you wanted to add anything about the rep position or how somebody might get involved with the Graduate Student Association?
Yeah, of course. Thanks for that. Actually, I can't. Okay, there I am. Yeah, so if you are interested in just being involved with GSA Council, you can certainly ask your grad coordinators or your program directors how to do that. So usually those are either elected or appointed positions. If you don't want to, say, be a rep, but you want to do something very specific, say be involved with mentorship standards or be involved with advocacy at the state assembly level and things like that. We have different committees. Starting October, we'll be releasing information about the different committees you can be involved in. And if you follow us on our social media and ask your reps, we'll be kind of circulating that information once students start coming back to campus. But that is something our vice presidents are gearing up to do. And so I'm really excited to see more students involved with that aspect.
Thank you so much, Quinn. So I think at this time, we will go ahead and end the session. As a reminder, the session is being recorded and it will be available online if you want to revisit the information. Many of our campus partners have put websites or contact information in the chat, so I would encourage you to take down that information if you want to get in touch with them later on. Thank you so much to our panelists today for coming and sharing with us what you do and for your work in supporting graduate students. And I think with that, I hope everybody has a great rest of your day. And oh, great. Thank you. Information about the Engaged Teaching Hub and the Writing Hub. At this point, I think we will go ahead and end our webinar. So thank you very much.